All praises to the Most High. This is Elliot. Just checking in with you guys today and talking about something that's been kind of on my heart, just as we continue to go forth into what's coming ahead for us in the coming days. All the things that maybe we have planned to do, accomplishments we want to achieve, and tasks that maybe we've put off because primarily things have been so weird in life, or you're just getting readjusted to how the world's been operating and flowing. But I would say that in the midst of everything changing and so many things happening in a rapid pace around us, we can't get distracted to the point where we just kind of lose focus in on progressing as a people and doing what we need to do. And I think the important part of that would also come to be planning and stepping out and doing some things that maybe we need to do that we haven't done, or some things that maybe we have planned but maybe have not found the right time to do. So maybe that's you, and this is the time for you to kind of reflect and think, I have a goal to do ABC, start a business, um, uh, reach new fitness goals, uh, do better with my health. All these things that maybe people may be evaluating at this point in time. And I think that through experience, I could say that there's one thing that I know for sure, that if you are truly, honestly moving with the Most High God in the steps that you make, either He will allow a way, or He will allow a way to a point, or He'll just continue to just not let things happen for you. Now, there was going to be a balance with that too, because you could be fighting demonic opposition as well to keep you hindered, pigeonholed, and controlled. But I will say that I have a testimony. I have many testimonies. Matter of fact, I I have so many stories that every time when these things happen, I said, man, I can't wait to be able to tell people about this. And I have a boatload of them. Supernatural miracles that the Most High has accomplished in my life and that I've been able to see. And I do want you guys to know that as long as you continue to strive forward and move in faith to do what the Most High has called you to do, then He will be faithful. He'll move. And sometimes that movement doesn't look like what you want it to look like. But it could look like He's allowing you to do whatever you had planned to get to a point of evaluating that plan and seeing whether it was for you or not. Or He could just completely be keeping you from something some way because it's going in a direction that He doesn't not have planned for your life. But you may have planned for your life. For example, you may be looking at the Smiths or the Joneses, and I don't like to use last names, but you may be looking at Rhonda or Charles or Bill or somebody like that, okay? Looking at somebody in your peripheral, and you're comparing your life to their lives. And I'll say this, do not do that. When you are called and chosen and set apart, you can look at people for motivation, but you have to know that a lot of times that the people that you're going to compare yourself to are flowing in a completely different flow. And a lot of that has to do with being tied into the world and the world system. But, and at the same time, I don't want to take that lightly. I do know that there's many times where you can be motivated and do some awesome things for the Most High, just by learning and having a mentor and watching other people do things and succeed in them. But we are going to be moving by faith in these last days. I mean, literally doing things that we do not see and stepping out. And that requires faith. That requires trust. That requires an attachment with the Most High, that we can really be connected with Him in prayer before we do take these steps. Because see, I felt like my whole walk as a Christian wasn't necessarily solidified because I didn't do anything radical. I always heard people saying that they just left their job, they did this, they picked up and moved, they did all kind of stuff in order to follow God. And I mean, after a while, I did do some things like that. And I think sometimes when I look back on it, I think sometimes people have those kind of goals and aspirations to just step out and do such things because they feel like that will kind of solidify their faith, to do something, to walk on water, to literally to uh, to sacrifice something major, and knowing that the Most High will step in. And yes, 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 He'll do that. However, I do think that when I look back on this, and this wisdom has come over the years, that you have to be very prayed up in the decisions that you're going to make, especially in these last days, because we don't really have time to recover and recoup losses. Not saying that the Most High cannot do it. And like I said, that sometimes you'll just step out, if you're really following the Most High, and you'll step out and you'll do something, but He won't allow it. And there's a difference between Him not allowing it, because it'll be a little bit more peaceful than a supernatural hindrance or a closure that may come if Satan is trying to keep you from doing and accomplishing certain things. But I do know that there are some times in life where I have really experienced some supernatural miracles of the Most High. And He's done some things that I can't even imagine that um, other people not experiencing. Because it's the kind of things that you go through where He reminds you who He is, and He will continue to be faithful. And those reference points, which I talk about a lot, that if He did it before, He can do it again. One specific thing that I was thinking about was probably, I won't say as far as 10 years ago, but maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I was living in a different state. And I primarily went there in faith, followed the Most High to do exactly what He wanted me to do. So I kind of left my business in a separate state. So my earnings were a little different. You know, I could only earn when I went back to my home state to handle business, and then I kind of came back and handled what I needed to handle while I was local. And because of that, it made money tight. You know, it just didn't flow the same way. But He provided everything that I needed. He was faithful to do exactly what He said He was going to do. And one of the things that happened was, this is the first time that I hadn't gotten to the point where there was literally no money for rent. Zero. And I've had that happen before where, you know, things got really low, but He always came through. Well, this time, rent was due on the 1st, and I did not have enough to cover it. I did not have the rent. So, because I'm so used to operating and walking with the Most High, I knew He was going to do something, but I just didn't know how. And this was one point I wasn't going to ask anybody, and I didn't have any kind of ability to quickly go take it out of another account, savings or investment account or anything like that. It just was what it was. And so the time kept coming, and I was kind of in denial, thinking that it's going to happen. I know He's going to do it, but I was like, well, maybe I'll just be late and I'll just have to make arrangements with the office. So, long story short, I remember laying in bed. It was the first of the month, the first day of the month, laying in bed, and I was waking up kind of groggy, probably sleeping in longer than I should have because I was slightly depressed, trying to figure out how I was going to handle the situation. And I heard a boom, 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 knock on the door, right? So nobody knew where I lived. I wasn't expecting any kind of visitors or anything like that. So I went and checked the door, and I looked on it, and there was a little note from FedEx saying that you were unavailable to get this package that required a signature. So I went ahead, and because I caught it so quickly, I went ahead and threw on some clothes real quick, ran outside to see if I could catch the delivery driver. And lo and behold, I did. I walked out, and it was kind of dark in my apartment, but it wasn't super dark. But it wasn't like the sun wasn't peering in really bright. So I haven't really adjusted to the light all the way. And so what happened was that I ended up going to, as a matter of fact, let me get outside. So I ended up going, can you see me? Going to go run out and get this package, and the light, see that bright sun over there? I don't know if you can see it. Let's see here. All praises. Where are you at, son? Anyway, the sun's over there. I don't know if you can get it. So what happened was, I ended up running out to the light. It was bright like this in my eyes, and then the delivery driver had just the best smile that I've ever seen. He was all happy. He was like, "Oh, I just missed you," and I was like, "Yeah." Signed for the little package. It was an envelope. Opened it up. Y'all, this is the kind of stuff that you think that people be making up. This was not make believe. This is for real, for real. Opened it up, and it was a check for the exact amount of what the rent was. Exactly what the rent was. Exactly. I was tingling all over. And it was from actually a partner of my ministry, someone who knew that I traveled and did ministry, and said that God had put it on their heart. They weren't even in the United States. That's crazy. But God had put it on their heart to send me that gift. And the gift was that. And that's when I knew. See, this is the kind of things that you know that you can't even be playing with the Most High about. He's altogether too real, y'all. It makes zero sense to even be playing with the Most High God, because he showed up so many times miraculously for me, and in ways that at the end of the day, you can't put anything else on it but the Most High's name. And that's important for us to know and to continue to realize as we're going and building our faith in these last days and stepping out and doing things that may be a little bit scary, for the lack of better words, that you may have to step over your level and your limits and go out and do what the Most High wants you to do, or follow and pursue the dreams that are in you. Even in the midst of this crazy world that's coming to a close, there's still going to be a balance of us having to go ahead and put some feet on our faith and do the things that we need to do, because we still have a lot of work that needs to be done before everything closes up. And like I said, and I always say, it could be 1, 10, or 100 years from now before everything's a wrap, because I don't know when it's going to be. But I know that we have to be able to balance our ability to, prepare, get ourselves right, return to our culture and do everything we need to do, clear up all the false doctrines that we've learned, and then come into balance with just doing what we need to do while we're here on earth, all right? So all that to say is, I wish I could have made that story more magnificent. I have the check, I have the stub, I have a whole envelope of miracles. I have so many, y'all. But this was crazy. The day the rent was due, run out, I hear a knock on the door. The Most High knocked on the door and dropped me off a check. And man, I'm telling you, it was the crazy, because you know how it is when you're getting your eyes kind of adjusted, and you want to, in the morning, and if you go out into the bright sun, you might start seeing all kind of stuff happening. It's hard to adjust and get your eyes straight. So I just remember I just kept seeing this bright, bright light, and it took me a while to adjust, and I finally focused, and I saw the guy who was smiling at me, and he gave me the envelope. I signed, and there was the check. Put that bad boy in the account ASAP, wrote the check to the office, and there it was. And then I was off and running. And then that was the only time there was kind of a hiccup with not having the rent money. Other than that, everything else flowed from then on. But I had to go through that for this moment in time, even just to tell you guys about how good the Most High is and how faithful he is, and that how he'll do what he said he will do. You just have to continue to do what you need to do. And that's follow him to the best of your ability, follow the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, purge out all the darkness that may be encompassing you, all the legal rights that darkness has, even through generational curses, doors that may have been opened before you were even following the Most High the way that you are, and just continue to purge yourself. But believe that he is faithful to those who move in faith. So over the course of probably this year, I'm going to pull out, if the Most High says the same, I'm going to pull out some of these stories and look at this whole envelope I have of so many supernatural miracles that reminds me. So I think to myself, you know, how many people experience the Most High the way that I experience? And maybe you have. Maybe you have something like this that's happened to you. And if so, feel free to share it. I think about how there's no way I would have to have really become delusional or lost my mind to not give the Most High praise, to not remember him and know how real he is by the ways he showed up and done so many things in my life. I mean, it has been crazy some of the miracles I've seen, some of the ways he's protected me, kept me out of harm's way. It's just an amazing relationship to have with someone who's invisible but so definitely there. So I hope this reaches you somewhere, really to the point of just reminding you that the Most High is faithful. He'll blow your mind with the miracle supernatural power that he has. Just continue to serve him, allow him to work on you, and do what needs to be done. All praises. Until the next time we speak, this is Elliot. Shalom.